Monday, January 8th, and the Dome Bombers podcast is back. I'm your host, Christian Kruger, here with Neil Mieski, and our little Irishman's going to join us sometime here soon in this episode as we're watching the national championship game. We're just lifelong Astros fans that love talking about the Astros and college football. So, boys, let's go. All right, episode 35 on a Monday night of the end of college football. Right now, we are currently watching it. It is 20-13, the Michigan Wolverines in about 2 minutes left in the third quarter. So we're going to be watching that as we record this because we're going to lead off with some college football, or mostly college football stuff. But first, our title sponsor, Two Ringers Chupacabra. The nice people there have been our title sponsor, and they're still giving away this fan favorite pack. Here we go. We'll do something on social media for you to win this, and they will ship it to you. It's got 5 different rubs and seasonals. Look at their stuff. Get online at 2gringoschupacabra.com. That's the number 2, gringoschupacabra.com. Use the Dome 15 for still 15% off. Now that all the holiday deals and everything are done, you can pick up some rubs and seasonal for all the meat you're going to cook. Thank you to the fine people there. And you can also get your local grocery stores, but we prefer you using the Dome 15. Mieski, holidays are over. This is the first episode of 2024. So
yes, it is.
Yeah.
Good point.
New year for the Dome Bombers podcast. Before we get into the game, how you doing?
We're doing good. Still licking our wounds a little bit from the picks from the semifinal round. Where
we're gonna bring that
up. Social media, all the winners came out. So no, it was good. Christmas was good. I thought 2 of the best semifinal games that have been around in a while, and two really games that went down to the final play. I mean, what else do you want for college football fans? So no, it was good. It was good.
Let's real quick, and then we'll get into that. So just so y'all know, the game, as I said, it's in the third quarter. We sent our stuff on text so everyone knows, because I do want to get into our semifinal picks, and I have it all written down right here. So Neil said Washington tonight, 30-24. Dorton, our Irishman, said Washington 28-21. Yours truly said 30-27 Michigan. To Neil's point, me and him went 0-2 with our semifinal picks. Dorton did pick Washington. I think he picked Washington just because he hates Texas, but he did pick Washington. He did pick Washington, so he went 1-1. However, all of our scores are sitting right here in front of me. We all were around the scores. And I didn't realize we were the only ones that messed up the predictions and projections in the country.
Yeah,
because I know a lot of people pick Texas and Alabama, but
yeah, we were way off.
That's part of that. I know, way off. I think I picked the score 37-30, and it was 37-31. It just happened that the wrong team won. But needless to say, hey, bring it all you want. We want feedback. We just got crucified on TikTok, and I was like, wow, we were so off.
Yeah.
So we'll see. That's why we do projections and predictions. And honestly, either game could have went either way. Like you said, they were great semifinals. They were great semifinals for the first time in a while.
They were fun to watch, man. I mean,
they were.
What a good Saturday of football there.
I'm getting text messages from my brother. Shout out to my brother, saying, "Of course, Phoenix is off tonight." Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
he wasn't against the Horns.
No, he looked like freaking Joe Montana, just crucifying. I mean, just
one of the best performances. One of the best performances I've seen in a long time.
I'm telling you, there were multiple instances to where a ball had to be placed in a perfect spot, and he did it. I mean, and hats off to Washington. I mean,
Yep.
there's no doubt. And I don't want to say I ever underestimated them, but they played way better than I ever thought they were going to. So,
Well, there's still
good football team.
there's still a quarter left in this game tonight. So and it's only one
Oh
score
yeah,
game, so anything can happen. But the difference I've seen is just the fact that Michigan can get pressure with just four. They're not having to rush or blitz extra people, and they're doing a little zone blitzing. They're playing zone back behind, but their key is their defensive line is getting there, and they're not having to bring extra people. That matters. It just matters.
yeah, for sure. And I think you and I talked before we got started. You watched the beginning of this game and you went, "Is this going to be another TCU debacle for a moment?" But credit again to Washington for making whatever adjustments. And like I told you, I think early on the moment was pretty big, and Michigan schemed some things up, and I think got Washington misaligned a handful of times, and that's part of the game. And Michigan, to their credit, took care of it, or took advantage of it. So good game, like you said. There's a quarter left, and there's a lot of football still to be played.
Well, I will probably jinx myself, but I do want this for the record. I took the under 56, which means it's going to go into overtime and go over that.
Yes,
because there's still plenty of time left. I thought Michigan would kind of muck up the game a little bit, run,
right.
and then my prediction ended up being, which we did what I sent this morning, and then as it got closer to the game, I was like, you know what, I don't know, I kind of like the under, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, and this is really all these games have been coin tosses, and the
12-team playoff is going to be so much fun.
Woo, can't wait.
Yeah.
If they're anything close to this, it's going to be wild. Not to mention just the home atmosphere that some of these colleges are going to get to enjoy. Home playoff game, that in itself is going to be one of a kind.
All right, if you were a betting man, as we're about to hit the start of the fourth quarter, if you were a betting man, is this Harbaugh's last game?
I'm saying no. Yeah, I'm saying no. I just don't feel it. Now, would it shock me? No. If he bounces to, whatever, San Diego Chargers, you name the NFL team that's going to throw a bunch of money and fewer rules and regulations to where he can take his starting quarterback out for a hamburger or whatever. Sure. I mean, I can totally get that.
I think he's gone, especially if he wins.
I think that maybe if he wins, but
here's what's different. And when we talked about this on an earlier podcast, he's always flirted with the NFL. I think he wants to prove himself against the best. He lost to his brother in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
But he did hire an agent. He did hire an agent that specializes in the NFL about, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago, maybe a little more than that. Don Yee. He's a very well-known NFL coaching sports agent. That's different.
Why would you get one of those if you're not at least interested?
He has a huge, massive extension on his desk at Michigan that he hasn't signed, so he can use that as leverage. I think today the Washington Redskins, because I can't call them the Commanders, they fired their coach. They're in a great situation with the number 2 overall pick and $80 million in cap space, that's massive in the NFL. I think the Falcons fired theirs. They should fire their coach regardless for playing the quarterback that they have and not giving the ball to Bijan Robinson more. You have the Chargers that are, everyone says a good fit. The Raiders. I'm sure I'm missing some because I don't follow the NFL like college football, but there's going to be a bidding war for him. He's won everywhere he's at.
Yeah, I mean, I see him being satisfied with the job he did, like you said, especially if he wins tonight, and take that and say, give it one last hurrah. I could also see him wanting to continue, So, for the sake of college football, I hope he doesn't. I hope he
Well,
doesn't. I mean, he's
they just caught Michigan in I believe like a corner blitz on 3rd and 4, and they dropped the ball for a first down.
oh man, yeah. My squirrel is a little bit slower than yours, so I'm a little bit behind you.
It was a great play call. They just didn't execute. They're just off tonight so far.
Of course.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think he's gone. I think he's gone. I think so for those that don't know the whole story, we're not going to get into the whole story. He still is under investigation and still could be penalized by the NCAA.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
I mean,
he should or shouldn't. I'm just saying
yeah,
he still can serve a suspension next year. He was suspended for 6 games. What, this year? 7 games? No, it was 4 and then reduced to 3 and then another 3 by the Big Ten. So I mean, he still could face penalty next year. So I don't know.
and again, if he bounces, I mean, if he does get those sanctions put on him, I can see him going enough, like, but I don't know, man. I think it's. I hope for the sake of college football, no.
Yeah,
I mean, because he's got this evil villain vibe that
no doubt.
that makes college football fun. I wish there was a little bit more of it. I mean, you've got the
I agree.
Nick Sabans of the world, and he's putting himself in that evil villain status of rules. Screw the rules.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Doesn't care, and there's something to that.
Real quick, make sure you guys go on our YouTube channel, like, subscribe, rate, review. Again, we got some TikTok feedback on our predictions. I love it. Bring it on. Let's go. That's what makes interaction fun. That's what makes projections and prognostication, everything else fun. But
I mean,
it does help us out. So if you're out there getting notifications on Spotify and Apple or podcast, go to YouTube and like and subscribe. We're growing this little machine one step at a time. Before you know it, it is going to be close to spring training. We'll get back into a lot of the Astros talk, but for now, it's the end of college football and crowning a national champion. What's amazing to me is these two teams are going to be in the Big Ten together next year.
Yeah.
That's not registered with me yet.
Yeah, that's odd still.
Texas is going to be in the SEC. Texas plays Michigan game 2.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just wild. It's wild.
That's at Michigan, right?
Yeah, it was supposed to be in Austin, and when they wanted to get out of the Big 12 early, they had to make a concession to Fox, and so Fox, hosts a lot of the Big 10 games, and so they flipped it to Ann Arbor to help get out a year early. Whatever, TV runs the show. Whatever.
Oh yeah, bring it.
Let me ask you this before we get into this. You said you think Harbaugh stays. I think he goes. What do you think of J.J. McCarthy as an NFL quarterback?
Okay, I was going to say, I think he is an exceptional athletic manager for the Michigan Wolverines. I think he is a competitor. I think he's. I don't want to say he's the glue or he's the thing, but he's got some life to him. He's got the energy that kind of makes those guys tick. If you're asking me his potential in the NFL, he's definitely not a prototypical NFL quarterback. I don't necessarily see him being this pocket passer NFL pro quarterback. He doesn't scream that. Can he become that? Sure, possibly. Different system, possible.
I tend to agree with you. I do. The only thing is I've seen some of the backup NFL quarterbacks play this year, and they are garbage.
Yes,
I mean, garbage. I tend to agree
for
with you. I really do. I mean, he's to me. I mean, he can throw, and I think he can throw more than they keep the reins on because that's the offense they want to
right,
do.
correct.
And but I tend to agree with you, with the exception of some of the guys that are collecting paychecks in the NFL are terrible.
It's amazing. I mean,
It
what a
really,
job.
it really is amazing. I mean, there's now I'll say this: I don't follow it nearly as much as I used to, right? But there's names I've never even sniffed to hear of.
Yeah. Well,
It's
for God's
unbelievable.
sake, Joe Flacco is still around.
He is, but he's one of the better backups.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like Grandpa Joe is still got a job because he's
Yep,
still better at 80 years old than whoever else is out there. I mean, it is. It's really amazing.
it really is.
And
Well, quick,
I
quick
mean,
update. Quick update. Washington just stopped them on third down at Michigan's own 20, so they're punting. So here we go.
well, you're going to end up being spoiler alert for me because again, I think I'm
Oh,
still in the first quarter. No, you go ahead. I mean,
okay.
my my streaming is behind you a couple minutes.
Well, it's in the country. It streams longer.
Yes, yeah, and whatever weather we're having right now is not definitely not helping it. So, but no, I'm glad this turned into a game tonight because again, it even my
Absolutely.
11-year-old son was saying, "Dad, this is fixing to be TCU all over again," and I was like, "Eesh."
He
Turn
wasn't
this
wrong to
sucker.
start. He wasn't wrong in the first quarter.
No, it sure didn't look like Washington that played
Can
last week.
can I get on a Heisman rant?
Talk to me, Penix.
Yeah. So here's the deal. So Dorton, brought it up in one of our preview shows. He's like, "Hey, do we want to talk about the Heisman?" And I very well remember I was kind of deflected because I didn't really want to because I don't really follow the Heisman that much anymore. And I'll be honest, Vince Young should have won it over Reggie Bush. Sorry, and then it was vindicated. So the national championship means more anyway.
Sure.
However, that's just one thing. It's turned into a wacky award. It's turned into basically a quarterback award, with the exception of Devontae Smith a couple of years winning it from Alabama because he
Right.
just had a crazy year. But and Jaden Daniels, for the record, for all you LSU fans that live in Houston or outside Houston and are Astros fans that are going to listen to this podcast, Jaden Daniels had a phenomenal year. Okay, he
He's a
did,
stud.
and he is
He's
a
a
stud.
stud.
So I'm not trying to take anything away from Jaden Daniels, but why are we voting before the conference championship games? Why is it not an end of the year award? And look, Penix isn't having a great game tonight so far. Now he's got time to
Fix
make
that.
up for it and take his team to the national title. But his game in the conference championship game that Daniels didn't play was awesome against Oregon. He carved up Texas in one of the best passing games I've seen in a long time. I mean, you cannot look at those two games and say that guy's the Heisman runner up.
Right.
And it would be one thing if Daniels had the same opportunity and same amount of games to match that, but he didn't. And I don't. I don't watch it. I don't care for it anymore. I don't believe it should always go to the best team. I don't. In the event that someone is just that good, um, and separates himself. But watching him these last two games, I was like, how did that guy not get voted the Heisman Trophy winner? He's been unbelievable. And
He
now
he
he's one score back in the fourth quarter to take his team to win a national title.
he
So
definitely had.
he's gonna have three more games in the Heisman Trophy winner. Think about that.
Yeah. Yeah. He definitely last Saturday walked away as the player of all games that
Mm-hmm.
you walked away from going, holy smokes, this dude is
So
wow.
think about this. He's in Daniels played 12 games. And since those 12 games are over, Penix has gone against Oregon, Texas, and now Michigan.
Right.
Dude, like what are we doing?
And again, is this some of the Pac-12 bias and SEC bias playing its role in a national award? 100%. In my mind, 100%. I mean, if those
Man,
roles are flipped,
he just made an incredible throw, but there's a flag holding on the offensive line.
if Penix played for LSU, if it was flip-flopped, he's winning it.
Yeah, I agree.
He's at LSU. So, yeah, I think there's some of that bias.
But it's the timing. Like, why are we doing it? Why can't we do it after conference championship or semifinals? I mean, three more games against three of the toughest teams in the country.
And it's one of those. I mean, I hate this individual award stuff because the Heisman is saying the best college football player. Yes, I mean that's what they're saying. Who is the best college football player out there? Doesn't always belong on the best team, but I mean that's what it boils down to. Somebody led their team to a great season. Well, I wouldn't say LSU is happy with the results of their season.
Well, for 25 years, that I would watch the Heisman. I mean, I would watch the Heisman Trophy ceremony. I just thought it was cool. I remember Charles Woodson beating out Peyton Manning. I mean, Ricky Williams winning it. I mean, I can go on and on and on. I would watch that Saturday to watch who won it. I haven't watched it in 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe you're just old. I
am. That's part of it. But I still watch. It just doesn't mean the same to me. It's whatever. It's messed up. I would love to get feedback from people listening to the podcast or watch on YouTube to see what they think about it. It's just not the same for me.
And you're just saying you're saying you think it's unfair for the season not to be over for some and for this thing to be final.
Yeah, I mean, why? I mean, why are we? One finalist gets is taking his team to 3 more games. How can he be judged the same way? The other one decided to opt out for his bowl game, which that's a whole nother story for another day. He didn't have anything to play for in a meaningless bowl, so I understand that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we're going to judge based on a 12-game regular season. Is that it? So the winning national championship doesn't matter? It didn't matter for Vince Young.
Yeah.
And there's others.
Yeah, I mean, and you could say the same thing, though, that a guy could be hurt by not getting the opportunity, Mm-hmm. But, I mean, I guess that's the way it's been done forever. And so we all know that.
Well, I'm excited for the 12-team playoff next year. I know we've talked about it, but they kind of came out with kind of how the schedule was going to be, and I had it somewhere. And let me. Oh yeah, here it is. First round games at home stadiums, which we know. The top 4 that are not the top 4 teams. Top 4 teams get a bye. The games are going to be on Friday and Saturday, 12:20 and 12:21 before Christmas.
Oh, cool.
Quarterfinal games will be the four major bowl locations, with one of those games on New Year's Eve and the other 3 games throughout the day on New Year's Day. Awesome. The two semifinal games will then be 8 days later in Dallas and Miami, with one major bowl game each on Thursday and Friday night. The championship is 10 days later after that in Atlanta on Monday night, 1:20. So that's a month
a little bit later. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a month of football from games 5, playing the 12, 6, the 11, 7, 10, 8, 9 starting on 12:20, and ends the national championship 1:20. Wow.
So a whole month
Talk,
of a tournament. I'm in.
that's I'm in too.
I mean, what else is going on? I mean,
That's interesting. Um, wow, and that's cool that they're doing one New Year's Eve night and then three on New Year's Day.
mm-hmm.
So that'll be the winner of the those will be the winners of the first
Second
round
round.
games
Yeah,
playing the 1 through 4 buys. Wow, that's going to be fun.
right. Yeah, so you kind of just pick up where a week, I guess, a week later.
You're
Yeah,
basically adding a week of major games before Christmas and then extending it a week
yeah.
basically after. Big play by Michigan because Washington's missed chance after chance after chance. So, oh, interesting, man. That's going to be fun. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, score here could all but close it off for Michigan.
Anything you wanted to bring up before we kind of anything college football wise or anything you want to bring up before we
No,
kind of switch gears a little bit?
I mean, I think
And
it's been a
we'll update when some scoring changes.
I think it's been a good college football season. I'm gonna miss some of this stuff and enjoyed breaking it down and watching it, and probably more so this year than I ever have. But next year should be should be even more fun. So just
For
looking
the for
forward to
the
it.
for the record, for all the people out there that bashed our semifinals picks, which we're here for it. We said that.
Yeah,
Um,
whatever.
did I say this earlier? I don't even know. I thought this might have been before we went on. We started recording or not. I picked Michigan and Washington in the playoff, by the way. And you can go back to our college football preview before the year started. And I took Michigan to win the national championship, which is looking good right now. I also took Washington in the playoff. I believe Dorton, because you weren't on that when we had Eric
Mm-mm.
Nalini of Inside Texas. I believe Dorton took Michigan to win it all as well. I don't remember.
But today he took Washington, huh?
Yeah, I he could have took Georgia. I don't know. We're not always wrong though. We're not always right. We're not always wrong. Um, it's fun to do this kind of stuff. So we're going to transition to our sponsorship of the Throwback Player of the Week. This week's going to be a little different because it's going to be an instant Throwback Player of the Week. Neil brought this up before we recorded. It's a good one to talk about. But before that, we wanted to thank Victoria Equipment Auction for sponsoring our Throwback Player of the Week every week. And they have a sale. This quarter is going to be on March 2nd. Their sales get bigger and better every year. I'm sorry, every quarter. So contact them. And Kenny and Kevin Griffin are great friends of ours that have sponsored this segment. And you can call Clay at Touchdown Michigan. You need to call Clay at 361-935-2444 and Victoria Equipment Auction, and they will get you taken care of from anything and everything that you need to put in there to sell. So Neil, with that being said, who is our instant throwback player of the week?
Well, it's the one and only Michael Brantley. So just a quick history of Michael Brantley. Was actually drafted by the Milwaukee Brewers instead of going to Coastal Carolina. Right, his dad was a major league player for the Seattle Mariners, and then ended up coaching with the Mets, and so ended up being drafted in the 7th round in 2005 by the Brewers, and then worked his way through, and then spent time obviously with the Cleveland Indians and ultimately the Houston Astros. And the last year specifically, I know we're going to talk a little bit about that, but the last year or so, injury prone, and he's a guy that we love to death. I mean, we appreciated him and what he's done, and thankful that he was a part of the World Series that we got. However, I mean, he did hurt us in his health, but just a great clubhouse guy between learning the ropes in Cleveland and then getting traded or getting worked his way over to Houston. We're not traded, but signed, and then spent 5 years from 2000. What did we say? 2019 through 2023. So 5-time All-Star, Silver Slug Award winner, and just a dude, just one of those guys that I think there's no mistaking, just a clubhouse guy that people respected and respected not only in the Astros organization but across the MLB. And we've heard some hints and rumors and wants about him being a hitting coach and this and that, but it'll be interesting to see if he disappears from baseball or follows in his dad's footsteps and sticks his toe into some Major League Baseball coach. I mean, obviously, you would want a guy like that with his knowledge to share it, but again, coaching is a little bit more than just because you played it and just because you did it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be one of the premier coaches in the league. So I wish him the best of luck. Thank him for his service with the Houston Astros and all he's done, and hope he enjoys retirement for however long he needs to enjoy that before he gets going.
In one of his, he released a statement saying that I think he's going to take some time off and be with it. He's got small kids, so good for him. I bet you see him back as a hitting coach at some point. Like you said, his dad done it for a long time. His dad's still really his hitting coach. Work out in the offseason, hitting coach, whatever you want to say, former major league players you stated. Yeah, I think you're going to see him take 2-3 years off, and then he's going to be back. Look, the Dome Foamers love. We called him Bradley Michael for a number of reasons, based on a text message that was sent years ago. It was just a joke. But one of the best professional hitters, clubhouse guy. When he walks in a room, when he speaks, because he doesn't speak often, everyone listens. Consummate pro. I wish more the younger ball players were more like him, or would study him and see how he handles himself. He won a ring. He wasn't here in 2017, so he's not part of that stuff either. I want to thank him for his service as well. I do wish he retired a year early because it would have saved us $12 million this year. But it is what it is, and I'm not going to take away from what he brought to the Astros on and off the field. That's a great instant one. I had a feeling he was going to retire because he just did not look right until the very end last year, and I bet you could still get out of bed.
And he's not the type of guy. Yeah, and I don't think he's the type of guy that enjoyed getting a salary and not earning it. Absolutely. I mean, I think he was probably as frustrated as anybody over this. And, I mean, I would think most Major League Baseball players are that way, but especially him and his character. He's just that type of guy that doesn't seem like a guy that wants to be given anything and he wants to earn it. So,
agreed. So that was a good one. Yeah, he'll be missed, no doubt. But we'll see him. I'll be shocked if we don't see him back in after a little hiatus.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance of that. Just with his dad being involved and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's some history there, and some of these guys, that's all they know. I mean, he was raised in Major League Baseball, and so what he knows is Major League Baseball. So for him to not be a part of that would be a lot. It'd be a shift change for him for sure.
Agreed. Just real quick, it's 27-13. As I said, Michigan scored. Washington just made a big play, so they're driving now. So hopefully it'll be a good finish here. A couple things, since this is our podcast, that I wanted to bring up and say. And Neil, if you wanted, we didn't rehearse any of this, but I think it's a good time. First off, the good stuff. Look, I found my shirt back.
Yes.
My lovely wife found it. I lost it for a while. She found it and wrapped it and put it under the Christmas tree. Who's your daddy?
I thought when you got it, I just thought you got a new one. I didn't realize that was the backstory.
That's the backstory.
Yeah. Nice.
So I had to wear that. Second, all I'm going to say here is I've worn this hat before. As most know on here that I live in New Braunfels, Texas, and my wife grew up here most of her childhood. To the back end, her dad was a football coach here. And for those out there that listen in this town or around, just say some prayers for the New Braunfels community. We had a rough deal over the weekend. All I'm going to say is it's with a student, and just say some prayers for that family and the New Braunfels community. It's always painful when you lose someone young.
For
So I
sure.
wanted to make sure, and just for those out there, just keep New Braunfels and any other towns and communities that go through this kind of stuff. You know, pray for peace, and if you're the praying type, which I know the Dome Foamers are, and just wanted to throw that out there and wear this hat and give a shout out to those out there that just think of the community in the back of their minds and say a little prayer for us. And Neil, is there anything
Yep.
you wanted to touch? Anything you want to touch on? I did want to give a
No,
compliment to your daughter. I got to see video that your beautiful wife put on that she actually is a Mieski in the family that can shoot.
she can
Um,
score. She's able to score unlike any of us ever. So yeah,
it's pretty cool. That was pretty
uh,
cool to watch. I enjoyed seeing. I sent you a text message. That was pretty cool to see.
yeah, she's doing well. You know, it's fun for her. She enjoys. She plays it all: volleyball, basketball, and tennis. So she uh, she enjoys it. And she had fun. So I don't want to give her too big of a head if she listens to this. But you know, the coach in me, I also ask her, you know, how many rebounds did you get? How many assists did you have? Those types of things, and obviously, did you win? So, but yeah, she's doing well. Got my college daughter. She's in town soaking up the food and AC and all that kind of stuff right now. And then we hit school back tomorrow running. So we've been, you know, we got a late start in this break. So
Yeah.
tomorrow's our first day back. So you know that adjustment is being made in a hurry tomorrow. You know, sleeping in till 10 o'clock for the kiddos. That's done.
Well,
So
in typical fashion, do you ask her how many looks she gives the refs like you used to at that age?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. She does have a, and it didn't come from me, but she does give the look every now and then of, you know, she has never fouled in her life. So
Oh man,
it's odd how that,
if I had a quarter for every time I've seen that look growing up.
yeah, the Pat Clark coined the phrase dirty DLs, dirty looks. Yeah, that was man, I love officials now. We get along great. We get along great. They're good people.
Oh man. Well,
But
I don't have anything else.
all good in the hood, man. Yeah, the New Braunfels situation, definitely prayers for you guys. We always joke with you about the N and the B standing for your love for Neil and Brian, but in this case, for sure. And you know, as a coach over the years, 20+ years doing this, lost several students, and it's never easy. It's one of the hardest things you have to do is deal with that kind of stuff because they are so young, they are kids, and definitely feel for the community of New Braunfels. So hang in there.
Yep, appreciate it. Guys, we'll get this out sometime in the morning, I'm sure, on Tuesday morning. And like I said, like, rate, review, give us feedback. It was fun. I mean, Neil does a great job without, even though he's here, I got to give him credit. He does a great job getting the TikToks out there, and we got some feedback. Man, it's fun. Like, that's good stuff. So
Yeah,
bring it
getting
on.
getting somebody's opinion from Michigan. Who cares? Whatever. Come on, Slappy.
I I will say this: it's looking more and more like they're going to win. You just never know. But I so wanted to say, can we stop, or can we still bet now or not? Like the new thing is bet. I don't understand it, but that's like their slogan. But it looks like we're going to have to keep.
Well, I've got a former boss who is from Michigan. He went to the Rose Bowl. He's down there in Houston tonight, and I texted him, and he talked a little smack about me picking Alabama and Texas. And so today I told him I was picking Washington just to seal the deal so that he could win a national championship. Michigan could win a national championship. So good for them.
Well,
good for Michigan.
that deal just officially got sealed.
Picked.
Yep, and returned all the way back to the 5. So
ball game.
Yeah, us dome foamers here are going to be the first ones, which could be a kiss of death, but I don't think highly unlikely. Congratulate the Michigan Wolverines. By the way, my pick to start the season to win it all.
You did. You did. Nope, all good, man. Have a good week.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate it. Yeah. With that being said, we'll end at episode 35. Appreciate everyone. Please give us feedback. We're going to have a little dead period, so we'll figure out what we're going to transition to in the next couple of weeks before spring training gets here. So, with that being said, go Stros.
Go Stros.